when I started going to college in Los Angeles, that is really where I began to, how can I say, receive or at least get some ideologies downloaded into my worldview without my consent. So I learned through different classes such as symbolism, sociology, classes about film, so many like education, opportunities to learn about different things. It was always it crept in here and there, if that makes sense. And I remember one vivid memory was sitting it was Halloween, it was raining, and I was in a symbolism class, and they were explaining how Antonio Gramsci, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, developed this theory of the hegemony and how there's a certain dominant group in society, that in America being the cis hetero white male, and how the world is kind of the worldview that we hold is from that perspective. So we end up always serving the hegemony, and they enjoy a certain privilege that other minorities don't enjoy. And I was a little bit resistant towards any new ideas, but that moment on that day, I was like, okay, I believe this. I guess this is true because I can't really fight against such knowledge. At the same time, in the same class, symbolism, I was learning a lot about the white gaze in film or the male gaze as well, how a lot of films are portrayed from the perspective of males, and therefore we sort of develop these weird biases that put males at the top, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a bit of, you can relate to it due to your experience, but then there's extra information added on that over time you begin to realize you're noticing so many negative, cynical things about the world, such as microaggressions was a big thing that I learned about, and I started to notice more and more opportunities for microaggressions to occur. And this is just through kind of academic study, more books that you read, you start to learn that, there's one study in critical race theory, an introduction, where they compare car sales between dealerships and white people and dealerships and black people, and how black people were being sold cars at a higher cost, higher price. And so you learn a lot of those things, and then you go out into the world and you see them take place. You see certain injustices or certain privileges like play out in real time, like someone not opening a door for you or someone scooting over. You start to analyze it and think, well, maybe they scooted over because subconsciously, they didn't want to sit next to a black person, or they were following their bias and wanted to be in a white group. Before you know it, by the time you graduate, you're completely riddled with this type of thinking and hyper awareness. And so that's kind of the short story of how I adopted this critical race theory mindset.
Wow. I don't think that it is just a coincidence that it was brought on in university. I think that our universities are definitely geared toward creating that type of mindset within, their students, which is horrible. I'm all for people being able to understand, like, hey, this is critical race theory, but these are all of the other options that are also available.
And plus, you're getting merits off of that. You have to kind of base your projects or your papers off of what you learn. So the more you apply these ideas, like the better grades you get, the more favor you have with professors. So in a way, it's its own systemic thing where like the more pessimistic and grievance based you are, the higher up the ranks you go, the more pats on the back you get.